Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Vice President Kamala Harris are having a bit of a spat over phone calls related to Hurricane Helene cleanup efforts. Now, on Monday, it was reported that DeSantis had refused to take Kamala's calls about storm recovery just over a week after Hurricane Helene hammered parts of his state. And there's a lot of just, disastrous news coming out of the areas that have been affected by the storm. And now we've got another hurricane on the way. Now, a source familiar with the situation said that DeSantis was dodging the Democratic presidential nominee's calls because they, quote unquote, seemed political, according to a DeSantis aide. Kamala was trying to reach out, and we didn't answer, the DeSantis aide told NBC News. Now, wait a minute. How would you know if it seemed political if you didn't answer it? That seems rather strange. I mean, what, did she leave a message and was like, oh yeah, hey Ron, reaching out here from the White House in this very, very political call? No, ridiculous, right? Seems really, really weird. That said, look what I'm talking about. Everything is political to Ron DeSantis. So, all right, he allegedly wouldn't take her calls. Seems pretty messed up, right? That said, DeSantis has been in direct contact with FEMA Director Deanne Criswell, as well as Joe Biden. So, all right, maybe they thought redundant. Except, this is where it gets weird, all right? If it's not already weird. So now it turns out DeSantis, when asked about it, denied that he refused to call. Here's what he said at a press conference, quote, I didn't know that she had called. I'm not sure who they called. They didn't call me. Their characterization of it was something that they did. It wasn't anything that anybody in my office did in terms of saying it was political. I'm sorry, what? That doesn't make any sense. And speaking of making this storm political, understand that it's the right wing that have been making this political. They've been putting out unhinged statements, including Trump and his allies, saying FEMA's out of money. FEMA is not helping regular people. They're instead funneling all this money to illegal immigrants. And then, of course, speaking of unhinged, all right, that's not even the worst of it. Then you had Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about how like Joe Biden has some sort of like a hurricane gun or something that he's pointing at the red states. Oh, they are controlling the weather. Oh, really? With what, Marge?
Jewish space lasers.
I don't know. Oh, we might have to look into that one, into the Rothschilds. No, who's making this political? Okay, it's the right wing. The idea that Harris called a state that suffered, again, disaster, okay, because this is disaster relief and everybody who's been impacted by this, and this is what Harris is saying, everybody that's been impacted by this, you are entitled to federal help. So please take advantage of it. Call, tell them you need federal aid, and they will help you with that. Doesn't matter who you are. If you've been affected by this, reach out. We are here to help. We've got money set aside for you. That's what FEMA is supposed to be for. And so, no, she's not playing politics with this at all. That said, Harris, in a statement here, I'm sorry, not in a statement, but responding to a reporter, said this.
Governor DeSantis, NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Again, this was after she had talked about, hey, FEMA has money, make sure to get the aid that you are entitled to, all right? And she was very, very clear about stressing that. Why did she have to be so clear? Because of all the lies coming from the right wing, okay? So let's be very, very clear about who has been making this political, okay? Oh, but you don't understand, it's the left wing that's made this political by pointing at climate change. You mean citing actual literal studies that show that climate change has an impact on these storms, making them more frequent and stronger? How's that political? That's just pointing out literal facts. But anyway, DeSantis decided that he was going to take time out from his very busy schedule of helping the people of Florida to respond to this on Hannity's show.
So for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games.
I don't have time for political games, but you've got plenty of time to go on Sean Hannity's show and talk about how, oh, I can't believe these other politicians are doing political games when they're supposed to be helping the state. I'm supposed to be helping the state. Yeah, why don't you go do that? Why are you on Hannity? It doesn't make any sense, right? Now, speaking of political games, you know that Ron DeSantis refused to tour the damaged areas with President Joe Biden, right? I mean, that's, not just last year, but also this year. Refused. Why? Well, likely anybody who's seen with Biden is immediately going to be slammed by right-wing media, Fox News, Hannity. I mean, for an example, look at what happened to Chris Christie after he was filmed somehow hugging Obama after Hurricane Sandy, and you're, sort of hugging Obama, I should say. Republicans never let him live it down, ever. And now, this was back during Obama. Now it's even worse. Even worse. People are more divided. Republicans are even more froth at the mouth insane. So I think the guy who is playing politics and political games here is clearly Ron DeSantis. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.